Unfinished Business television fans. Show your love for all things retro and movie magic by grabbing some awesome gear from 80sts.com. Your go-to spot for the best nostalgic t-shirts from your favorite movies, TV shows, and pop culture classics. Use promo code UBTV at checkout to save on your order and support Unfinished Business television. While you're at it, relive the classics or the memories. Shop now at 80sts.com with code UBTV.
We thank you, Father, for what we are about to receive.
Cohen, he kills people for money.
Please.
Tate would happily do it for fun. They've been teamed up to get Travis Knight away from his family and the FBI and deliver him alive to the mob.
It's done. Yeah, done. Almost.
Travis Knight. He's 9 years old and he's gonna give them hell. Cohen and Tate. A two-man army ready for anything.
It's working, Mr. Cohen.
Except a 9-year-old hell-bent on survival.
Hey, Tate.
You're dead.
That's it.
Get him.
His only hope to turn them against each other.
Kill him, Mr. Cohen.
Take it easy, Mr. Cohen. Things are getting a little out of hand, don't you think?
A terrifying race against time with death in pursuit. Cohen and Tate.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Unfinished Business Television. Yeah, I'm too sick to try and do the vocals, but deep dive. I am your host, Jeff Galashaw, Unfinished B1. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Andre Joseph of AJ Epics Productions.
What's the last thing that goes through a bug's mind when it hits the windshield? It's ass!
The wit of Tate, I believe. Excuse me. This week we'll be talking about this episode. Why do I keep saying week? We're going to be talking about Cohen and Tate, a thriller that stars Roy Scheider and not Alec, not Steven, not even Daniel, but Adam Baldwin, no relation. And this film takes place. A little boy witnesses a murder in Texas and is put in the witness protection program. And Cohen and Tate are sent to retrieve the boy for the mob so that they can question him about exactly what he saw and deciding what to do with the boy afterwards. But it doesn't look like it's going to be a positive experience. And along the way, as the two assassins are taking him to the mob bosses, they get on each other's nerves. And one's more of a professional, one's more of a wild man. And before long, the kid is helping to play these two personalities against each other. Now, Andre, you picked this movie written and directed by Eric Red. Why did you pick this film for a deep dive, and what is your history with this film?
Well, this is a movie I've been wanting to talk about for some time because there are very few movies you just find randomly that end up surprising you so much with how good that they are. And Cohen and Tate was one of those films that I had never heard of for the longest time. I probably went past the video box at Blockbuster when I was much younger and seen the picture of Roy Scheider and Adam Baldwin together. And I'm thinking this was like a mafia movie. I mean, it sort of is, but not exactly. So I didn't know anything about it. I mean, because I only knew of Roy Scheider from Jaws and French Connection and Sorcerer. I really didn't know too much outside of those things, and Sequest, of course. So it was during a pandemic, and just like going through all sorts of bullshit on YouTube, a lot of these old made for TV movies that I hadn't seen ever, or just rewatching them for the first time. And I must have did a search for Roy Scheider movies, probably looking for something that I hadn't seen him in. And then I saw this, and it was like the whole, running time. So I was like, okay, let me check this out. And I watched it in one sitting. I was like, holy shit, this is really good. This is not what I would have expected for a film that, first of all, I didn't even think Roy Scheider was technically like a villain, but the fact that he and Baldwin take this kid, the kid has no help. It's all up to him to get out of his situation. But the way that he plays them against each other and Scheider's character being more sympathetic of the two, I think it made for a very intriguing premise and one that you don't really see enough of, and probably why it never got a big release when it came out. So afterwards, I kind of became a little bit obsessed with it to where I bought the Arrow video DVD, and I wanted to see like the audio commentary by Eric Red. I wanted to see the interviews to figure out what was this movie about, why did it not get released heavily, and how did it become a cult classic? So I'd written for this on Collider. I did an article for it last year, and essentially, it was a movie that Eric Red, it was his directorial debut. He had written The Hitcher, he had done Blue Steel, and he had done Near Dark. But this was his first directorial effort because he had done some films in film school. And this was one that I think he felt would be simple enough that he didn't need a lot of actors. He really needed one major location, which is the car. And then everything else would kind of come to play, all the dynamics of the action. And so the story was based on the O. Henry short story, The Ransom of Red Chief, which kind of has a similar idea of a kidnapped person turning the tables on his kidnappers. And basically, this was a movie that he had always wanted Roy Scheider to be in it, but the producers didn't think they could get Scheider. So at one point, they offered the Cohen part to Gene Hackman. He said no because he didn't want to endanger a child. Then he went to John Cassavetes, who would have been perfect for this, but I guess he was busy or he might have been in poor health at that time. So he wrote Eric Red a nice letter. Tom Noonan read for both characters. And then finally they went back to Scheider. Like, this is the only guy I want. And so essentially Roy was like, the idea is great, but there's got to be something connecting this guy. He actually wrote an entire backstory that's not even explained in the film about how he was part of the mafia and he was a Jewish guy. So it was like they accepted him, but not really. And so they just gave him this bullshit job just to get him off their back. But he basically agreed to do it after Eric Red wrote a scene in which he had to go and stop in a mailbox to deliver an envelope to somebody just with a female's name. We don't know if it's a wife or a daughter, but just to show like, okay, there's somebody he's connected to that he has to give this money to because he doesn't think he's going to make it through the night. And so that was enough for Scheider to sign on to the film. And then Tate was, again, Tom Noonan read for it. Also, Bill Paxton, who probably would have been good for this as well. He was under consideration, as was Michael Pereira, of all people, before they went with Adam Baldwin. And as far as shooting, they shot in Texas. They shot mostly at night. And I know Eric Red wasn't happy with a lot of the interior car scenes because he didn't really like the lighting, the way that it was set up going in and out of windows. He Harley Cross, who plays the kid Travis, he would be kidnapped in other movies too, like The
Mm-hmm.
Believers and Someone to Watch Over Me. And he was in the Blu-ray where he said, he got along great with Scheider, even though they didn't really have like a deep relationship of any kind. And he was intimidated by Adam Baldwin because he was so tall and imposing. So I'm guessing Adam Baldwin was a character. But it's a shockingly violent film, but has so many different twists and turns to it that it kept me at the edge of my seat. And I just really think it's a highly underrated gem. And Scheider called it his best performance since All That Jazz.
I will agree because I mean he didn't really get the best roles, especially in '88. I just like that, the producer's like, we can't get Scheider. Let's try for Hackman. Like, I would think it would be the other way around,
Yeah.
but it's like, well, we can't get the star of the French Connection. No, we can't get the supporting star of the French Connection. Let's go for Hackman. And just the idea that Hackman was like, wait, endangering children? I ain't down with that, my man. I'm like, Gene Hackman apparently Gene Hackman loves the kids. So I can tell you if Gene Hackman would have taken the role, I don't think he would have gotten along with Adam Baldwin.
No.
Um I wouldn't have mind to see the version with Bill Paxton. No offense to Adam Baldwin, because this is the one time I'm not going to put Adam Baldwin's politics as the fault of the act, because he actually is really good here. Even though they could have been a little more subtle with his character. Like at one point he's like hitting himself in the head with the stupid, stupid, stupid. Like, okay, calm down. We get it. You could have just had him be the bodunk idiot of the crew, who just masters at shotguns.
And did he have to trust like the Terminator?
Maybe well, I mean, come on. You have Cohen in his like trench coat looking like a French detective from the 1940s. So why not? They all had to have their, outfit. My thing with this movie, I remember as a kid always passing by the box in the video store and seeing the posters and Cohen and Tate. And it kind of reminds me, I don't know if you remember this skit that had Tracy Morgan and Tim Meadows as two black lawyers on SNL. And anytime, for some odd reason, even though Cohen and Tate has nothing to do with it, it just sounds like the name of a law firm. Or this would have been the perfect name for an action buddy comedy. Cohen and Tate take care of business. Luckily, they didn't give this to Jim Belushi. But I liked it. This is probably, I hate to say it because, well, I was a kid and I probably saw this before I saw any of Roy Scheider's notable bigger roles. Like before I saw The French Connection. Because again, this came out when I was 10. So I probably saw this when I was 12. So obviously I didn't see The French Connection at that time. I had not seen All That Jazz at the time. My biggest connection to him at the time was Sequest DSV. So that's where I knew him from. And and no, even Romeo was it?
Yeah.
Romeo is
Romeo's
bleeding. Yeah, I hadn't even seen that yet because I saw that in theater, but I believe that came out when I was 14. So yeah, I saw this first, then I saw Romeo is bleeding, and he does well in the film. I was shocked by the ending. Adam Baldwin always, I guess he just has this thing that goes well with a villain that makes you just dislike him. That look. He looks like, I'm shocked him and Vincent D'Onofrio never played brothers in a movie. They kind of have that similar, like, slow baby look. It's like
I think that was one of the reasons why I watched it, because it was rare for me to see him outside of Radio Flyer, where I got to see his whole face and not just be this faceless, abusive stepfather. And and I want to see Scheider kick his ass, which he kind of does in this film. So there's that going for it. But you're right. Like Scheider at that particular point in time when he did this, he rarely played villains in films. I mean, he was the pimp in Clute, but outside of that, Jaws pretty much made him, like an action hero. Like
Oh
it
yeah, I
sucked.
hadn't seen Jaws yet either.
Yeah,
And
like it sucked when he dies in Marathon Man. Like I didn't like seeing Scheider get
definitely hadn't seen that.
right. But he was at a point where I think he had Blue Thunder and he had 2010. Those were like the last big films he had as a leading man. And then 52 Pickup didn't do well. The Men's Club, that might have to be a deep dive. That was a flop. So this was sort of like, nobody was hiring him because the action stars were starting to get younger, more muscular. He was kind of like the old news. And so this gave him a part that allowed him to play on nuances and not just be like a stone cold villain. Like the fact that he has the hearing aid and then that moment in the final act when he loses it and he's scrambling around for it and the kid finds it. And it's like that one little moment where he actually cares about the kid. And that's the other thing that I liked about him as Cohen is the fact that he is dead set on this mission. He never bonds with the kid. There's no like, oh, it's going to be all right. I'm going to, stop the mob from coming after you. None of that. It's like, I got to make sure this kid gets to this destination because he's a principal warrior. It's just Tate has no principle and he's so fucking crazy that he's the one that's standing in the way of him fulfilling the mission. And even in the final act, that shocking ending is kind of fitting where, he sacrifices himself, but at the process of, he doesn't want to go to jail. It's very complex. And I think he makes it work so well. That's how good he is. And that's why I remember it.
Yeah, hold on. I got to turn on a light because I'm super dark.
You're getting darker.
I'm like, damn.
Like setting the mood for this movie.
Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm planning my own fate out here. And
Jesus Christ.
okay. Jeez. What is okay, yeah, now it's straightened itself out. Because it was only getting the top of my head too. Okay. So yeah, the thing with this film is, it's a two-hander, which is, but it has plenty of action so that you're not bored. And it always has shifting focus, but I think they early let you know Tate is the villain because, he just wants to do the kid. You kill the kid, whereas at least Cohen's like, no, let's just bring him, even though they know they're going to eventually probably have to kill him. But it's more like, no, let's just do our job, do what we're supposed to, and you're fucking annoying. That's pretty much the whole thing of it. And like I said, the hearing aid part, that was shocking because I didn't see that coming. Like when all of a sudden he loses it. But I'm just like, but I also like that it shows how cold-hearted they are. Because even the gas station attendant, when he goes to like make the call and he just kills him, it seemed like that would be something more Tate would do. But it also shows how vicious Cohen can be. And well, the black cop, obviously,
they're worse together when they work together. Like when they get to the road stop with the police barricade and they blast their way through it. And when the kid first tries to escape and he's on the run and they just chase after him by car, I mean, like it felt like Terminator, but without cyborgs.
Well, yeah. And Tate is the Terminator because even though, they think he's dead in the trunk and then he jumps out and then he's like, aha, bulletproof vest. But then they like shoot him, hit him many more times. And he's still like, oh, I'm still coming after you. Where it's just like, damn, what does it take to kill this dude? And it seems like Tate doesn't know how to work without a shotgun. His weapon of choice, but it'd be nice if they would have shown like, oh, he's also tactical with a knife, or he's also tactical with a handgun. But it was like, nope, he can only use shotguns and maybe try to strangle you. Those are his two things. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it because I remember as a kid enjoying it. Like you said, it's a nice little discovery you make. Like, oh, this was straight to home video, didn't make it to theaters.
I
So
think it
it's
played in
like,
drive-in theaters.
oh, okay. Well, I could see that. It's very enjoyable. It's like one of those sleeper films that like people have to hip you to. And it's like one of the last time, like you said, unfortunately, it's one of the last big leading roles for Roy Scheider, his last hurrah. And one of the more bigger roles for Adam Baldwin, which the irony is he started his career playing a hero of a bully in My Bodyguard,
Right.
and here he is now, he's the killer, so but I mean his whole career he's been nothing but tall guys. But yeah, I like I said, I enjoyed this film. It's simple to a certain extent, cut and dry. And like you said, it has kind of like, I guess Cohen has the samurai code where, he's going to do the mission, and if he can't, he'd rather kill himself than, anything else. Though I will admit the kid was annoying. Um, I wasn't not rooting for him, but I was just like, yeah, I'd be annoyed by this kid too. In his, oh, Mr. Cohen, with his Texas accent. I, and I was like, why did his father have to survive? Why couldn't his mother survive? I'm like, these movies are like Disney movies. Like, nah, just kill the broad.
So that was another thing I wanted to look into, which was were there scenes cut from this movie? And the violent scenes were definitely heavily cut because it was almost rated X. So the
Damn.
whole opening sequence in the farmhouse, that was cut down drastically because it was a lot more bloodier than what we got. The ending back and forth with Cohen and Tate. Well, the way Tate dies is as it is. There's nothing
Okay.
more beyond that. Probably just more bloodshed when he gets shot up. And there is a lobby card that shows after Cohen offs himself, where the father reunites with the son. But obviously, the movie ends on like a shocker of just he blasts himself and it cuts to black. I mean, there's nothing more perfect than that. We don't even give a fuck about this kid. These guys are done.
Yes, this isn't a film that was made to be heartwarming.
No.
It also, I don't know if you remember this, but remember there was a Masters of Horror episode about two serial killers who were in competition with one another?
I heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, this came first, but I feel like it was a little bit inspired by this movie also. Um, obviously, I'd recommend this film.
I highly recommend it.
Now, is it currently on physical media?
Well, I don't think Arrow Video has the prints of the special edition anymore. Shout Factory might get the rights. I'm not 100%. I know it's on Tubi the last I checked, and the DVD is pretty easy to get, but there's nothing on the DVD.
Oh, I was hoping for maybe it still had the audio commentary. And
well, the Arrow Video one has.
Okay, because we all know, like, Eric Red went on to the infamous Body Parts movie with Jeff Fahey. What was was it Bad Wolf or Bad Moon?
Bad Moon.
Okay, and what other films did Eric Red direct? And
those are the only two that I know of. He did something with Gina Carano recently. I didn't.
No, so he still is making films.
Yeah, and he's still writing. He writes a lot of books now too.
Oh, well, I mean, he's an original writer, and you can't say, "Oh, I've seen that before" from him. So
I'd like to have him on the show. I got a million questions for him.
I'm sure you do, because I remember, because I did see both of those movies, Bad Moon and
Body Parts.
Body Parts. Body Parts, I still to this day remember the trailer for and being like, "Oh man, I gotta see this." So I mean, I would love to interview him, though I will admit, probably Body Parts in this and The Hitcher, which he was the writer for, I'd have more of my questions for. So is there any unknown trivia or facts about this film before we go?
That's pretty much everything. The only other thing is that the opening scene was inspired by The Searchers.
Oh, okay. I can see that. It has that Western type feel.
Yeah.
He also wrote Blue Steel and Near Dark.
I got questions about Blue Steel.
I more have questions about Near Dark. But that ends our business for this episode. Definitely, while you can, while it's still out there, check out Cohen and Tate. You can now currently watch it on Tubi, which is free. So do yourself a favor if you're looking for an original thriller, go out and check it out. And that ends our business. But there's always business to be had in the deep dive. I'm trying, folks. And so until next time, we bid you adieu.
If you like this review, please be sure to like and hit subscribe to be alerted to new episodes in the future.